Hello and welcome to ELL Plus with me, Samuel Quashie-Idun.
And me, Maria Olorunfunmi, bringing you news and features from around London.
The boroughs we cover are Hackney, Tower Hamlets, Lewisham and Croydon.
In this week's programme, an early bedtime for hipsters. Hackney Council has proposed a midnight curfew.
I don't think it's acceptable and they should be ashamed.
And also tackling antisocial behaviour, Tower Hamlets police have a new strategy.
So we usually get surprised when we turn up on their doorstep.
And we'll also see the Shining Lights display at Canary Wharf's annual Light Festival. We begin with two different stories about ways of tackling antisocial behaviour. First, in Hackney, where areas like Shoreditch and Dalston are known for their vibrant nightlife.
There could be trouble ahead though. Hackney Council says the late nights are disturbing residents and has proposed a midnight curfew. Campaigners have accused the council of being anti-fun and anti-youth. Josefine Henneberg has this report.
Hackney at night. The clubs and bars are packed. Here, the idea of a midnight curfew has alarmed campaigners who believe it will take the area back to 1980s.
So we need to start changing the dialogue about our nighttime economy to one that is positive and affirmative and really values it for what it is. I'm really surprised that Hackney Council haven't thought innovatively about ways in which they can control their nighttime economy, about the ways that they can control noise and disturbance, and I'm surprised that they haven't brought that into effect.
I wanted to find out what bar owners thought of the curfew proposal.
The knock-on effects on anywhere else as well, so all the existing venues are going to suffer as a result if people are not able to open up new venues and if people are going to start going elsewhere for their nights out because of this midnight curfew. They're just going to get kicked out at midnight at the beginning of the night for most people because people will be going out all night. They'll be, a lot of people, that's the start of their night. So if they don't have the option of all-night venues, they're just going to go somewhere where they can.
The proposed idea is for pubs to close at midnight on Fridays and Saturdays and earlier on other days of the week.
ELL contacted Hackney Council and they told us that the nighttime economy in Hackney has great reputation, which they will continue to support, but also want to ensure that there is a balance between promoting great cultural offer as well as ensuring that the residents can get a good night's sleep.
Residents who support the proposed curfew were unavailable for a comment.
To be honest, I kind of get the point of this is weekdays, these are weeknights, and people want to wake up early the other day, and so you have to be considerate of other people's needs.
I don't think it's acceptable and they should be ashamed.
Midnight curfew is unacceptable.
They're closing already at 12:01 in the morning already, which is not enough.
Yeah, I just wouldn't go clubbing in Hackney. Go somewhere else. Stays open.
But for partygoers, the fight to keep Hackney's reputation as the hipster capital of London will go on. Josefine Henneberg for ELL Plus.
In Tower Hamlets, a very different approach to tackle antisocial behaviour has been tested.
Yes, the ASB scheme was started in 2016 and seems to have proved a success. I spoke to the person in charge of the scheme, Sergeant Colin Reid, to find out more.
For years, the residents of Tower Hamlets complained of drunkenness, drug dealing and loitering. The police have started knocking on doors and issuing warnings to offenders. Since the new scheme was introduced last year, there have been over 3,000 fewer calls made to police about antisocial behaviour.
So ASB has been a common problem here in Tower Hamlets, and with this number on the rise, the Met Police are using home visits to try and slash antisocial behaviour. I'm currently here at Bethnal Green Police Station to talk to Sergeant Colin Reid, who is one of the persons to have devised this new scheme.
So the ASB warning system is a system that we developed for Tower Hamlets because we became the worst borough in the whole of the Met for antisocial behaviour, so we had to do something. So we developed a system whereby if people are engaging in antisocial behaviour, rather than police just move them on, we will try and engage with that person, find out their name and address, and they get one of these warning notices served on them. That comes to my team, And if that person keeps coming back to notice again, then we'll do a home visit and we'll try and find out why that person's always being found in areas where they shouldn't be or doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And then the person that receives the ASB warning is issued that form actually on the street.
Okay.
So, it makes it clear on the back what antisocial behaviour is and why they've been stopped. On the whole, we get a very positive response. Sometimes for the families or guardians, it's the first time they've been made aware of what maybe their son or daughter are doing outside of the home environment. But most are, grateful for that information, and we see very little repeat offenders coming back to our attention once we've, made that visit and we've explained what's going on and why their behaviour is not acceptable.
So how many intervention visits have you had so far?
Well, of the 5,000 warnings that we've now issued, only about 8% of those have needed a home visit, which is about 300 we've done so far. We've got about another 50 to 60 to do at the moment on our books. So the reoffending rate is minute compared to how many warnings we're actually issuing.
Surprisingly, research shows that over 1/3 of offences are perpetrated by the over 46 age group. But have the residents of Tower Hamlets experienced ASB this year?
No, I haven't experienced any support behavior.
On a few occasions.
No, not personally.
Yeah, I've experienced it.
With antisocial behaviour apparently decreasing in Tower Hamlets, the scheme has now been adopted in Westminster and other police forces. Samuel Quashie-Idun, ELL+.
The End Child Poverty Coalition has published a report detailing the number of children living in poverty.
2 areas in Tower Hamlets have the worst rates of child poverty in the country. And here to tell us more is our ELL reporter, Monika Ghosh. Monika, thank you for joining us. Could you tell us more about this report, what it shows, and any changes from the last report?
Sure. The report measures how many children are living in households below 60% of the national average income. Now, in Tower Hamlets, 2 of those constituencies, Bethnal Green and Bow, and Limehouse and Poplar, are the first and third worst constituencies in the whole of the UK for child poverty. In terms of the change, 14 of the 20 worst affected areas had an increase. The 2 constituencies in Tower Hamlets, actually, Bethnal Green and Poplar and Limehouse, they've had 2 of the highest percentage point increases in the country. Drilling down a bit into the data, we can see that Bethnal Green has increased by 11 percentage points, from 43 all the way up to 54 this year, and Limehouse has increased by 9 percentage points. Although it's lower, it's still one of the highest increases in the UK.
And I'm sure people will want to know the reason for this increase and what's the reaction been like?
Well, the reasons are a bit complex. Rajnara Ali, she's the MP for Bethnal Green and Bow. She says one of the factors is a lack of affordable housing, but also people on low-paid jobs, lower incomes, part-time jobs and zero-hour contracts. The government spokesperson has said the route out of poverty is employment, and they've been focusing on getting people back into work, looking at increased employment figures, and they've talked about the free healthcare and childcare possibilities for parents who are on lower incomes. Now, Tower Hamlets Mayor John Biggs, he hasn't commented yet, but I spoke to a food bank worker from Bethnal Green, and he said the increase didn't surprise him at all. He's seen more and more people coming into the food bank over the last year or so.
Great. Monika Ghosh, thank you very much for joining us. Now, if you think Canary Wharf is all high-rise office blocks, think again. For the rest of this week, the area is playing a host to an extraordinary exhibition of light installations.
It really is something special. I went to Canary Wharf over the weekend to see for myself.
This is a sonic light bubble. It emits a warm glow and a unique soundtrack thanks to more than 200 LED lights. Huge inflatable rabbits are designed to remind visitors of their childhood fairy tale.
This is an installation by Collectif Quan, a French artist. It's a real performance.
Artists have used passages and tunnels of the area to create a concept of creativity.
This installation is called Flora. It's by a German artist, and visitors can interact with the figures through a touchpad like this. It's really cool.
Canary Wharf winter lights will carry on until the night of Saturday the 27th.
The last stop of our amazing visit at the winter lights is this cube. It blends with the water and the pedestrian bridge.
The lights are switched on every day from 5 to 10 p.m. Olorunfunmi for ELL Plus.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have a local news roundup with one of our ELL reporters and hear how breakfast lovers have been particularly enjoying the week.
And how a very talented girl from Lushan has been awarded Scholar of the Month by the London Music Fund. See you shortly.
Now it's time for our regular roundup of Bahwon news. This week with Josefine Henneberg, a reporter on our news website, East London Lines. Josie, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Could you tell us about the news from our boroughs?
Yes, so we have a nice story which is coming up on our website. It's regarding Victoria Wharf, the demolition of Victoria Wharf. Artists know Victoria Wharf as a space where they can be creative and just let loose. So what's happening is the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has planned to demolish Victoria Wharf in order to create 2 new bridges, which will connect to Olympic Park. So campaigners are very unhappy about this decision because they believe that it will pollute the air, which will contradict with Sadiq Khan's policy of improving the air quality as well as supporting creative minds.
And sorry to interrupt you, are campaigners worried about the cost of the bridges as well?
Yes, definitely. That's one of the reasons campaigners are campaigning against it. Yeah. Also, Sadiq Khan is also being attacked by his own colleague, the Tower Hamlets mayor, John Biggs, who recently released a statement stating that Sadiq Khan should reconsider his decision of demolishing Victoria Wharf.
And what's on the ELL website for our readers this week?
Currently, what we've got on our website is a story regarding acid attack. So what happened was the defendant, Julian Harvey Bernard, went to a store in Lewisham and he did not have money. So what he did is he stole the food. And when security guards confronted him, he threw ammonia, which is an acid, in their faces. And luckily, none of the security guards suffered life-threatening injuries, but Julian Bernard Harvey was sentenced to 3 years.
Thank you. That was Josefine Henneberg. According to a survey by Meridian Foods, half of Britons spend less than 10 minutes a day on breakfast.
But National Breakfast Week is here to encourage people to have a better start to the day, and a cafe in Croydon has been making a special effort. Apart from providing us with energy, breakfast foods are good sources of important nutrients. At Box Park, Croydon, Cafe Utopia has been giving away free porridge to hungry commuters.
Basically what we're doing is we're promoting the National Breakfast Week. So what we have here at Box Park, we're giving out free porridge to anyone. Because porridge is such a great way to start your morning. It gives you that slow release of energy and gets you ready for your day.
Every month, the London Music Fund gives one of its scholars an award for their dedication.
For January, the winner is a very talented 10-year-old girl. Blair Jiang went to meet with Jadida from Lewisham.
Jadida has only been learning violin and piano for 2 years.
I really like piano and violin because I like classical music, but I like other music as well. So I don't just like one music genre, I like different types.
Jadida is modest about her achievement, but there is no doubting her dedication.
It's good to practice, because practice makes perfect, and I need to know how to play so I don't mess up on the stage.
Sam has been Jadida's violin teacher since last September, and from the start she was impressed by her talent and commitment.
She's making very good progress. She's a very fast learner. She's got lots of musical ability.
And this is the normal one where you...
She loves music. The money's going to go higher, so I said to them then I won't be able to afford it. So that maybe after that term, then we're going to back off. Then the young man came and said, oh, there's something going on called the London Mayor Scholarship.
It's wonderful that the London Music Fund is producing this opportunity for children in London, and we try to make full use of that because we have a sense of responsibility to the young people in Lewisham.
The scheme reaches further than Lewisham though. Since 2011, the London Music Fund has awarded over 400 scholarships across the city. For ELL boroughs, Lewisham tops the table for Scholars of the Month. It has 10 in total. Croydon, Tower Hamlets and Hackney are just tied, just behind with 8.
The charity also provides scholars with financial support and opportunities to perform alongside top professionals.
Music education is transformative to children and young people. It enables them to reach their full potential, to learn that you can be good at something if you work hard at it.
I don't want to be anything in music, but I do enjoy playing the piano, and I think when I'm older I will still play it, but it won't be my profession.
Blair Jiang for ELL+.
And finally, a dog collar is the last thing you'd expect to see in a non-religious church. But on Saturday, there were nearly a dozen in the congregation at a very special service.
So please do rise on your 2 or 4 legs as you are able.
Believe in Dog. A special event for dogs and their humans took place at the New Unity Church in Newington Green. It was the brainchild of Reverend Andy Pakula, who told me that having a dog changed his life. The service was about honouring dogs, for learning from dogs, and remembering dogs we had lost. It was a time to have fun. New Unity Church belongs to the long-standing movement of British Unitarianism.
It's a place where people of no beliefs, all beliefs, doesn't matter, come together for community and to make a better world.
The gathering was similar to a traditional church service with sermons and blessings.
May you have joy. May you bring joy to others. May you have love around you all of your days.
New Unity Church belongs to the long-standing movement of British Unitarianism.
And we call it a non-religious church because most people have pretty much had it with religion, and they find so many things that they find repellent there: patriarchy, misogyny, homophobia, and on and on and on, and particularly being required to believe something that you don't believe.
The idea of a church service for dogs may seem barking to some, but the sense of community and joy here were palpable today. Last year, the number of non-religious people outnumbered those with a faith. Perhaps New Unity's increasing congregation could teach some of the older religious establishments some new tricks.
Neena Bahwon with that report.
That was actually quite cute.
Yeah. That's one way to increase your congregation. That's all for now. We'll see you next week.
In the meantime, you can catch up with all of our latest news on our website, eastlondonlines.co.uk, or follow us on Twitter. Thank you for joining us.